A warm welcome. Thank you so much for joining us and always being part of us. Welcome to this edition of Africa Today. My name is Nahaba Gajura. But first, are the headlines. Members of Parliament want government to scale down cost of state functions. Anti-Rwanda tensions boil over into looting in eastern DRC. Kenya, Somalia in fresh diplomatic row. In our sports news today, Vipers keen on Lumala, Mayor deals in transfer speculation. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. We start with one of our top stories. In what is seen as one of the solutions to the country's economic crisis, government has been tasked to scale down on the frequency, cost, and extravagancy of state functions. Just this month alone, the country has held three big functions: Heroes Day, State of National Address, and the Budget Reading Day. For each of these functions, millions are spent on hiring venues, food, chairs, security, and allowances for staff who attend.
Since the year 2022 began, government has so far hosted over 6 national events within 6 months, just days away from each other. These are constitutional and provided for by the law, but in the current economic times, some analysts propose that their costs should be slashed. Shadow Finance Minister Mwanga Chivumbi said that the many state functions are not only taking a toll on government coffers, but are also affecting service delivery. FDC spokesperson Semjunganda said that when it comes to extravagance, government has no shame. The MPs argue that there is more than what meets the eye that goes on during the organization of the state functions, from the president's security detail to allowances for ministers and staff. Lilian Abba, who is the Chitugumu district woman member of parliament, also agreed that in these economic times, it would be nice to scale down on the expenditure. In 2015, the then newly elected Tanzania president, the late John Magufuli, suspended Tanzania independence celebrations to cap down state lavish spending.
Moving on, in our top stories, Country Director of World Food Programme in Uganda, Mr. Abdirahman Mejung, has revealed that WFP intends to increase volumes of food they purchase from local farmers due to the quality procured locally. Now, he spoke at the Ignite Food Systems Challenge supported by the World Food Programme held at Serena Hotel in Kampala. Our reporter Nalugu has more.
Speaking at the event, the country director of the World Food Programme in Uganda said that there has been a significant change in regards to procuring food locally in Uganda. He said that the World Food Programme currently buys here in Uganda more than half of the food they donate to people due to the quality produced by local farmers.
As far as the World Food Programme is concerned, we are now buying more than half of the food that we deliver to people in need in Uganda, which means that we're able to buy at scale and at quality, and that's really important because we have standards that need to be met when it comes to the quality of the produce that we buy. But also working with smallholder farmers, and this is a big piece of what we do, to help them become more self-sufficient, whether that's through improved inputs, improved understanding of how improved agricultural practices can lead to higher yields. These are all things that we're investing in with small-scale farmers in the hard-to-reach parts of the country where the needs are greatest, so that food systems are reinforced.
He therefore revealed that the World Food Programme intends to increase the volumes of food they purchase from local farmers and also work with small agri-farmers to help them understand agricultural practices that can lead to higher yields so that food systems are improved. Government is committed to having at least one agriculture extension officer in each sub-county in the country.
Now, under each of these, the interventions range from supporting farmers with agricultural inputs, supporting them with the agricultural advisory services. So yes, the government will is there, and through those projects we are reaching various farmers.
Okay.
30.4 million people are currently facing severe food insecurity in Eastern Africa. The main drivers of high levels of food and nutrition insecurity are conflict or insecurity, climatic shocks, macroeconomic instability, and COVID-19. The Ignite Food Systems Challenge celebrates Ugandan entrepreneurs who are thinking outside the box to redesign regional food systems in service of people and the planet. Over 400 SMEs and cooperatives contributing towards food security applied to take part in this challenge, and only 11 finalists were shortlisted.
My name is Sylvia Nakunda. I'm the founder and CEO of Farm Rep Limited, and of course I'm excited that I've won the $50,000. This money will go a long way to help me expand my business reach. It is going to help me improve my processes, but also looking in impact, it is going to help me prepare or produce products that I can sell out to my main target audience, who are children.
Last year, the United Nations World Food Programme launched its first regional innovation hub in Eastern Africa, that is the Ignite Food Systems Challenge, in search of game-changing ventures contributing to stronger and more sustainable food systems in Uganda.
Moving on in our top stories, government has called upon parents and guardians to stop blaming COVID-19 pandemic for the moral deterioration among their children, but instead mold them well from home to higher institutions to keep good moral conduct. Now, this call was made by the State Minister for Ethics and Integrity, Honorable Akelo Rose Lily, while updating the media on the Lubiri High School incident at Uganda Media Center in Kampala. Take a look at the report.
Speaking at the event, the country director of the World Food Programme in Uganda said that there has been a significant change in regards to procuring food locally in Uganda. He said that the World Food Programme currently buys here in Uganda more than half of the food they donate to people due to the quality produced by local farmers. He therefore revealed that the World Food Programme intends to increase the volumes of food they purchase from local farmers and also work with small agri-farmers to help them understand agricultural practices that can lead to higher yields so that food systems are improved. Government is committed to having at least one agricultural extension officer in each sub-county in the country. $30.4 million people are currently facing severe food insecurity in Eastern Africa. The main drivers of high levels of food and nutrition insecurity are conflict or insecurity, climatic shocks, macroeconomic instability, and COVID-19. The Ignite Food Systems Challenge celebrates Ugandan entrepreneurs who are thinking outside the box to redesign regional food systems in service of people and the planet. Over 400 SMEs and cooperatives contributing towards food security applied to take part in this challenge, and only 11 finalists were shortlisted. Last year, the United Nations World Food Programme launched its first regional innovation hub in Eastern Africa, that is the Ignite Food Systems Challenge, in search of game-changing ventures contributing to stronger and more sustainable food systems in Uganda.
Well, thank you so much, your reporter. Africa Today takes a quick break. We shall come back with the international news. Welcome back from the break. You're still watching TV Africa, the right to know. In international news, violence in Sudan resulted in at least 145 dead and over 180 wounded this month, according to the United Nations. Now, the tribal clashes occurred in West Darfur and South Kordofan provinces and were described as the deadliest in the recent years.
According to the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA, the violence erupted last week between two tribes, one Arab, the other African, over a land dispute. The clashes took place in the wake of October's military coup that marked an end to the country's short-lived transition to democracy. According to OCHA, the fighting subsided following the deployment of troops to the area. Authorities also declared a nightly curfew last week, but tensions remain high. The violence puts into question the UN Security Council decision last year to dismantle the joint UN-African Union peacekeeping forces mandate in the region. Longtime autocrat Omar al-Bashir was removed from power in April 2019 and has been in prison in Khartoum ever since. Al-Bashir was indicated over a decade ago by the International Criminal Court for genocide and crimes against humanity perpetrated in Darfur.
Away from that, Kenya has expressed regret over the presence of a flag from Somalia's breakaway region of Somaliland at a diplomatic briefing in Nairobi, which sparked a strong protest from Somalia. Now, hours after Somalia's ambassador to Kenya walked out of a diplomatic meeting in Nairobi because of the presence of a Somaliland envoy, Kenya's foreign ministry regretted the inappropriate presence of a Somaliland flag but made no mention of an envoy from the region which declared independence in 1991. This diplomatic faux pas comes just days after Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta visited Mogadishu for the inauguration of Somalia's newly elected president, Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, marking an easing of relations between the two countries, which was stormy under the previous president, Mohamed Abdullahi. Somalia also agreed on Friday to lift a ban of airlifting cut from Kenya, which had been in place for over 2 years. Mogadishu had severed diplomatic relations with Kenya in December 2020 when Kenyatta received in Nairobi a president of self-proclaimed Republic of Somaliland, which is not recognized by international community and which Mogadishu considers an integral part of Somalia. Diplomatic relations were restored in August 2021. A former British colony, Somaliland has economic relations with a handful of countries around the world, but remains an island of stability compared to Somalia, which has been ravaged by decades of political violence and a deadly Islamist insurgency. Now, thousands of Congolese went out in the streets of Goma, the capital of North Kivu province, to protest against Rwanda's support for the M23 rebels and show their support for the armed forces of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Now, the protest takes place a day after the government reiterated claims Kigali backed the notorious M23 rebel group. Take a look at the story.
According to Chance Makale, who participated in the demonstration, Rwanda has been attacking them for 20 years now, and yesterday they asked for the vigilance of the population and stood up for the cause of the nation and are behind the FARDC, their armed forces who are fighting to put the enemy out of action. Nadege, a female demonstrator who claims that the army has been infiltrated, said that their government must know that the Congolese army is infiltrated and all those infiltrators must be driven out of the army and the police. Another demonstrator, Fiston Kether, added that at the moment their country is being attacked by a neighboring country and they are not going to accept this greater disorder that has lasted for so many years in their country. The rebels resumed fighting last November after accusing the Kinshasa government of failing to respect a 2009 agreement under which the army was to incorporate its fighters. On Monday, the rebels took the trading town of Bunagana. Rwanda has rejected all allegations of involvement.
Moving on, at least 7 people have been killed, 4 of them beheaded in recent jihadist attacks in northern eastern Mozambique, violence that is now affecting areas previously relatively untouched and causing massive new displacement. According to the UN and the NGO Save the Children on Tuesday, 10,000 people have fled their homes in the past week. The country has been plagued since 2017 by jihadist violence that has already killed nearly 4,000 people, according to the NGO, and forced about 800,000 people to flee. The armed groups had been operating mainly in the far northeast of the poor but resource-rich Cabo Delgado province near the border with Tanzania. But in early June, a series of attacks took place further south in the Ankiwab district, 45 kilometers from the port city of Pemba, the province's capital, an area considered safe until now, according to Save the Children. In another attack last week, 2 security guards working at a mine in the same district were killed. According to diplomatic and humanitarian sources, travel has been restricted since the beginning of the month due to increase in violence. After a major attack last year, however, the violence had decreased in intensity, partly due to the deployment of regional military forces. A deadly attack on the port city of Palma in March 2021 forced the French energy giant Total Energies to suspend a 16.5 billion euro natural gas project just a few kilometers away. Now, Africa Today takes a quick break. We shall come back with business, health, and sports. Welcome back for the break. You're still watching TV Africa, the right to know. In a business news today, Egypt, Israel, and the European Union on Wednesday signed a deal to increase liquefied natural gas sales to EU countries, which aim to reduce dependency on supply from Russia as the war in Ukraine drags on. We have a report.
Egypt, Israel, and the European Union struck a deal on Wednesday, which will see the North African nation receive more Israel gas to liquefy it for export by sea. The deal comes as the EU has had difficulty banning Russian fossil fuel imports in retaliation for the war in Ukraine. During a joint press conference with Egypt's president, the EU chief reiterated her bloc's ambition to end its reliance on Russian energy. The deal was designed in a Cairo hotel by Israel's energy minister Karine El-Haral, the Egyptian minister of petroleum Tarek Al-Molla, and the EU Commissioner for Energy Kadri Simpson. The deal provides the EU will help Egypt and Israel increase their gas production and exploration in their territorial waters. It's unclear how much gas the EU will import from either country. Last year, the European Union imported roughly 40% of its gas from Russia. Moscow said on Tuesday that it would be slashing gas deliveries to Germany by more than 40% due to repair of compressor units. According to the deal, the Israel gas will be brought via a pipeline to Egypt's long-term terminal on the Mediterranean before being transported on tankers to the European shores.
In Africa Today Health, the Ministry of Health has kicked off investigations into reports that a 14-year-old student suffered adverse effects after he was vaccinated against COVID-19. Now, health experts and activists have had on several times warned the government and school administrators against vaccinating children without parents' consent. The Ministry of Health said in a statement that working with the National Drug Authority, they are investigating this and results will be shared with the public as the child receives treatment at Chirudu National Referral Hospital. Jonah Luyinda, who is 14, a student of St. Martin Secondary School, Janiam PG, was vaccinated in March this year when a team of officials from the Ministry of Health went to the school. The team allegedly inoculated learners even before government rolled out vaccination children in the country. Jasper Nsumuga, Luyinda's elder brother, told the media that days after the vaccination exercise, the health of his brother started to deteriorate. He explained they could not wait anymore given the condition and they had to rush him to a health facility which conducted various medical tests and scans on him. Luyinda is currently fighting for his life at Chirudu Hospital, according to the brother. As the debate about vaccinating school-going children against COVID-19 vaccination continues, there have been several media reports indicating that children between the age of 12 and 17 would be vaccinated without their parents' consent, but dismissed this as untrue. our sports news today, Vipers have reportedly sealed the signing of winger Lumala Abdu on a 2-year deal. Now, the former Pyramids wide man, who is currently in Europe, has however denied signing for any club on his social media accounts.
Wakiso Giants are keen on signing Samson Chigozie. The highly rated attacker is a free agent after KCCA opted to let him go as he failed to impress since his move from Police FC. Vipers are pushing to sign Farouk Mia from Ukraine side Lviv. Mia won the league with Vipers Sports Club in 2015, but is currently available to move since all football in Ukraine stopped due to war. Gaddafi FC are interested in signing several players from Express FC, including defender Moroshid Juko and forward Eric Nambali, with hope they will be eager to reunite with Waswa Bosa. Arua Hill and Sports Club Villa have tabled offers to Police FC defender Eric Senjove, according to reliable sources. KCCA are close to agreeing a new deal with defender Dennis Iguma. Express FC captain Enoch Walusimbi is a target for league champions Vipers Soccer Club. Former KCCA and Azam striker Brian Umoni is looking at having another UPL challenge next season after 2 seasons with Proline. He has issued a come get me plea. Wakiso Giants want to keep striker Samson Senyonjo, who impressed while on loan from KCCA last season.
It is at this particular time that I thank you for being with us and always joining us. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We shall keep updating you. It is TV Africa, the right to know.